Well, it's a truly historic day here in the United States. For the first time since the founding of our republic, a member of the opposition party has invited a foreign leader to address the Congress of the United States, specifically to criticize the President of the United States. Now, just think about that. For the first time in the history of our country, as far as I can tell. Now, maybe you know something I don't. But somehow I just, I can't imagine James Madison inviting the British to come in and explain, what happened with the War of 1812. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I don't have any recollection of ever reading books about, German politicians coming to the United States during World War I or World War II to address Congress. I mean, can you imagine if the Democrats had done this to George Bush? Can you imagine the level of outrage if the Democrats had invited Hugo Chavez to address Congress? And he came in and he trashed Bush for saying, and he came in and he said, if you guys invade Iraq, it's going to be a horrible mistake. This is astonishing. Just astonishing to me. Meanwhile, this is interesting. The headline by Jason Easley over at politicasusa.com. Boehner stunt backfires as NBC, CBS, and ABC do not televise Netanyahu's speech to Congress. So if the prime minister gives a speech and nobody hears, did he give a speech? It's sort of like, if a log falls in the forest or a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, did it actually happen? I don't know. This is not something that would be happening if this president was anybody other than who he is, and I mean that just the way it sounds. The level of disrespect that the largely white Republican Party has used to treat this our first African American president it's not just astonishing. It's un-American. Tim in Chicago. Hey, Tim, what's on your mind today?
I've got to tell you, I feel the same way. I'm a conservative Republican, and I have never seen or can justify what they did, and I am very much a Benjamin Netanyahu supporter, but he should have known better as well. He should have paid far more respect to the office of the presidency. He was calling on America to make sure that they support Israel through, the death that Iran has decreed on Israel. I can understand his concerns, but there is diplomacy and respect and dignity that needs to be afforded our country and the office of our president. So
well, and also there's the issue that you don't need to negotiate with your friends, but you do need to negotiate with your enemies. It's the only way that things move forward outside of war. I mean, these are basically the two ways that nations change their behavior. Is they either get their butts kicked in a war, or they get brought in from the cold, like we're doing with Cuba right now too, which has got a whole bunch of Republicans all upset.
But Iran has declared war on Israel. There's absolutely no question about that.
As has Saudi Arabia. And it still stands today, but we talked to Saudi Arabia.
That's true. Netanyahu should have just used more prudence. That's what I'm not supportive in any way. I would contact every single one of the representatives that I do in these cases and express my outrage that the Republican Party cannot see the good that this president has done in many ways. I don't understand why you can't agree with your opposition party when they're right about something. It does not. I will not change to be a non-conservative, and I will not change to be a non-Republican. But to say that you are right about something, Tom, does not change me.
Yeah.
It just means I recognize what's correct and true.
Well, and it means you're an adult. It's that's one of the most adult things that anybody can do is to say, okay, I'm wrong and this guy's right on this particular issue, but, I'm still who I am and this is what I believe. Or we just respectfully disagree for that matter. You don't even have to acknowledge that somebody else is right. Tim, thank you for a very adult conversation and for the call. Thanks for listening to WCPT there in Chicago. Appreciate it. Morris in Long Beach, California. Hey, Morris, what's on your mind?
Yes, Professor. Regarding Mr. Netanyahu addressing the United States Congress, I read a book by a gentleman named Max Blumenthal, and the title of this book is called Goliath. And after reading, it's a 400-page book. I read all of them. And after reading that book, I'd have to say that Mr. Netanyahu is a war criminal. You have to understand, Professor, that the Jews operate under what is called a settler state, not a democracy, as Mr. Netanyahu likes to promote. And there were people living there for thousands of years. I'm talking about the Palestinians. I want to give a shout-out to the Palestinians for helping us deal with the tear gas that was being thrown at us at Ferguson. But there's another book written by a guy called Garth Porter. It's called Manufactured Crisis. It relates to what's going on in Iran. This whole discussion about Iran being bad guys is being manufactured. We should remember that in 1953, which was a very good year, by the way, there was a coup that took place in that country. Why? Because they wanted to nationalize their resources. So the United States Central Intelligence Agency, and we're good at that, along with British Petroleum, decided to overthrow a democratically elected government. Okay, well, you know what's happened since that time. But you see, some of these things that are being just swept under the rug should be brought out because people are operating under misconceptions. Mr. Netanyahu operates a very discriminatory government. Just ask the Palestinians. So I don't mean to start any trouble with Jewish people, but I would say read that book by Max Blumenthal before you offer any opinion on my boy Netanyahu. And thank you for taking my call, Professor.
You got it. Thank you, Morris. Appreciate the call.